concept of teams, team retrieval, and team filter services, which was introduced from version 8.5 onwards of IBM BPM. Earlier, we had the assignment options of last user in lane, routing policy, list of users, and custom. And these assignment options have been deprecated and cannot be used in the task assignment for processes and BPDs. So basically, previously what was known as participant groups has been replaced with teams. A team is basically a construct which has n number of members inside it. It has a name for it and it has a manager's team assigned for it. So let's take a look at a team. So the teams are available in this section and you can create a team here. So a team can be either static or dynamic. A static team basically has users or groups. So you can assign individual users by selecting the plus here, or you can assign groups, which can be IBM BPM groups or LDAP groups, which are available in your environment. So this is a static team. Now let's take a look at a dynamic team. A dynamic team has a service implementation and you construct either a new service or choose an existing team retrieval service. So a team retrieval service has a predefined signature wherein you have input and output as a team. You can additionally specify more input parameters for it. For example, you want to be able to pass in an environment variable into it or other input parameters. So a team retrieval service basically is a way to dynamically create a team. Your source could be database, your source could be LDAP, or your source could be a JavaScript API retrieving other static teams, manipulating them, combining them, filtering them, doing various operations on it, and the end result being that you construct a new team and pass it back to the assignment, the process assignment or the task assignment. So here, for example, we have created a temp team with 3 members and we are returning it as a team. You can optionally also specify the manager's team here as well as the name for this team. Now let's take a look at a process and how we assign teams to tasks. So you can assign a team, either a static team or a dynamic team via team retrieval service to a task in the assignments. So here you had either you can have a lane assignment or you can have a team assignment. Then you select your team from the available teams. Either you can assign a static team or you can assign a dynamic team to it. Okay, now comes the concept of team filter services. So for task A, we do not have a team filter service because this is a primary task, and a typical use case scenario is that for task B, we don't want it to be performed by the user who performed task A. So it is your responsibility to retrieve the owner or the worker for task A, put it in a variable, and then you can pass it on to the team filter service for task B. So task B has a dynamic team assignment and also it has a team filter service assignment. So depending on the input variable defined for a team filter service, the input mappings need to be created for all the inputs. So let's take a look inside a team filter service. A team filter service construct is like this. It takes an original team as input and outputs a filtered team as output. You can additionally specify input variables we just which we just described earlier. You can have n number of input variables, and based on the input variables and the original team, your task is to basically filter out certain members out of the original team. For example, here we are checking that the previous user is removed from the original team and the remaining users are passed on to the filtered team. So you can optionally give the filtered team a name as well as a manager's team. You can either copy the manager's team from the original team or you can create a new manager's team also. So coming back to our process, so if when we run this process, task A will be assigned to the dynamic team by the which is attached to a team retrieval service. Then task B will take the input as the original team, which can be the dynamic team or which can be static team, and the filter service based on the additional input parameters will do some processing, massaging of the data or filtration out of the members, and it ends up creating a filtered team. An important thing to note here is that whenever a team filter service is run, uh, BPM internally assigns a random ID to the generated team. That means it's a temporary team. It is no way a permanent team, and a random UUID is assigned to that team. So a bug has arisen because of this implementation. So let's say you created a task and at that time the team had certain members inside it. But the task was assigned and created, but during before picking up the task certain new members have been added to the team or certain members have been removed from that team. So those members will not be reflected. So to solve this, what you can do is you can create a simple dashboard wherein you pick up all your target tasks, identify all the input variables, then you rerun the service, the team filter service by passing it the original team as well as the same input variables, and then generating a new filtered team and then assigning it back to those tasks. So it is described in this topic on bpm.tips, so you can take a look at the pseudocode which is available there to implement a solution for this bug. So that's all for today. So we described teams which are replacement for participant groups. Then a team can be static as well as dynamic. Dynamic teams have team retrieval services which retrieve their members utilizing database queries, JavaScript API or LDAP queries and generate a dynamic team. And then we have team filter services which based on certain inputs take a original team and then convert it into a filtered team. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you.